fire in the fireplace is low. There's a sound upstairs of guards and staff moving about, maybe getting the house ready. But here on the ground floor, there's you, the boss, the 4 mute bodyguards who never leave his side, and this stranger who says there's a problem. A lean, serious, violent-looking man.
I'm taking a close look from head to toe, and when I'm looking at him, I also look at the boss's reaction to him.
The boss is standing up. Head to toe, the newcomer is dressed in black. He's holding his expensive, well-shaped hat in his left hand. His hair is perfect, even though he's just removed his hat. No need to adjust it. Shoulders are square. Back is straight. There's a telltale bulge under each arm where there must be pistols. Perfect cuffs. Perfect shoes. Not a flashy gangster. He looks like an undertaker with style. If he had hitman tattooed across his face, it couldn't be more obvious. While you're looking him up and down, he's surveying the room, and his eyes stop on you.
I look at the boss, and I come back right into his eyes, and I stay there as long as he stays there, waiting for him to say what he has to say. And I have no expression, and I don't move. Since he arrived, I did not move an inch. Only the eye looking around. And then when I see that he's looking in my eyes, I stay there and wait for him to say what he has to say.
One heartbeat, 2 heartbeats, and his eyes cut back to the boss. Boss doesn't nod or indicate. Doesn't ask him to leave. Doesn't ask you to leave. Another heartbeat. And he starts to report. Everybody, he starts again. The consultant's office, Dr. Call, everybody that was checking in on him, everybody that we assigned to him, they're all dead. He holds up a hand. Right, the boss is taking in a deep breath in order to respond, snap questions, something like that, but he just holds up a hand and says, not a hit. Not gunman. Not like that. Just screaming. And by the time I got close, there were body parts rolling down the stairs, blood spraying everywhere. So I fell back. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see what was doing it. Then the gunfire started on the second floor, but it was just our guys yelling, right? Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. Emotion is rising in his voice. He stops, he straightens, takes a deep breath, then he's back to being calm again. When the shooting stopped, nothing and nobody came out of that place. Didn't come out of the main door, didn't come out of the secret door, didn't come out on the roof. No sign. I waited, posted a guard. I came back to report.
Looking at the boss, I'm waiting to see what he has to say.
There is a long silence. Everybody at Doc calls? Man nods twice. And the boss turns on you and says, "But you talked to Rory tonight."
I did. He's on his way, supposedly. I turn around and look at the man who just reported. I just move my head. I don't move my body. I look at him right in the eyes and I say, "What's your name, son?"
Like you. I have the initials JC. So around these parts, they started calling me Christ.
Well, I won't call you, but I have questions for what you just said. You mentioned a few things. First, you said Dr. Call is dead.
No one came out. No one was moving. No lights.
Okay, that's assumption. No problem. We will have to figure it out. You talk about a secret door. What are you talking about?
Well, that building only has one real way out. It's not acceptable. So another exit was made, and of course there's a fire exit out the roof.
Okay. I look at the bus. I say, Rory came back from that place. He said everything was fine. There was nothing special there. Um, I have all kinds of information we could discuss. Is it okay for me, boss, to talk about it in front of Mr. JC here?
No. Points to him. Go get cleaned up. Wait for your men to call in. Nods to you and heads deeper into the house.
When paper is worth more than the money printed on it, working men would rather risk blindness than stay sober, and an honest day's work pays in promises and stale bread. What kind of man turns to what cowards call crime, but name in their hearts as murder? Thumbs wag and fingers point at the gunsels, the black sheep, head shake, disapproval, and boasts of what would be different if someone had just taken charge, or if no rod had been spared on pinstripe boys playing as men. Things would be better if folk could just listen to me, they say, and sigh at the loss of the perfect world that could have been. With the broken dream of farmland blotting out the sun, with bankers proving Newton right and lurid splashes of failure along the cracked pavement of other people's hopes, with all the old lies tottering on crutches and frantic grins through the freshly painted doors of cathedrals and speakeasies alike. The kind of man asks if what he is thinking and doing is right. Not the killers. That's for damn sure.
I nod back. I turn around. I look at the bus. I say, "Okay, bus. I have a few things we need to do. There's a few things we need to discuss. Now, this guy, how does he know my initials?"
Jimmy, you're going to be famous long after you're dead.
I kind of, and then I kind of lean back in the chair a little bit, crack my neck out of nervousness, and I say, "Listen, boss, no worries. He looks very good, and
Well, he's no you.
I might become." So here, listen, I want to talk about a few things. Now that's some new information. That's something. Um,
That's a lot of
uh,
men, Jimmy.
that's a lot of men. When I saw Rory, he looked anxious. You know, the kid has been through a lot of things, losing his father. You know, things are not, and he sees things. The story he told me, they all concur with what you told me. Now this guy is talking about bloodbath situation. Now that's a whole lot of gangsters. That's a whole lot of men, good men. Um, Now Dr. Call and well, the people in his office are not gangsters, but I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, that's a whole lot of people. That's a whole lot of people dying. Now he's making assumption that Dr. Call might be dead.
That's good thinking, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Should have gone in to check.
I will not believe that until I see it. And now you kind of, you know, the situation kind of asks to believe stuff that I haven't seen either. So it's kind of complicated. Now I can go and see, but I think there's some more urgent matter. The docs. Now I'd like to go get Mickey's body.
Hmm.
Supposedly he's been seen. His body has been seen in your building. We need to get back your building as well. My idea was that we should go there with a bang. and burn the place down. Just because, sometimes it can produce a statement, boss. If you go there and show them, like, you want to take my things, want to take my stuff, I don't mind. I will burn my stuff down. You don't have nothing, right? It can be a powerful statement, and
I
it can
agree.
it can shake things up a little bit. Now, I would like to know what you want me to do, boss. Do you want me to go there, get Mickey's buddy back, burn the place down, send a message, or you want me to go there and do something else? There's all kinds of stuff we can do, all kinds of stuff I can do. I talked with Rory about this, and I want him to come with me. Rory is in a bad place, and I want him to get some confidence back. Maybe I can use your JC man as well to do that. See if he's a good man or not. I think that might be more urgent than figure out where Dr. Call is or if he's dead or not. Whatever you want me to do, boss, I'll do. But I think we saw a move, maybe tomorrow.
Can you handle it with just 3 guys?
Plus me, maybe. But if I can have Rory and JC and maybe five men, I'm pretty sure we can. I'm pretty sure we can bring, because just bringing Mickey is big. If we put him in a car, it'll take at least, what dead body is heavier. You know that.
If I send JC with you, you'll have to watch him as much as you'll have to watch the others. He's very ambitious. And it would be very convenient for him if you disappeared on one last assignment for me.
No. If you say that to me like that, I will make him disappear on that last assignment of mine.
But then I'll be down a young and healthy hitman and be left with the old and wheezing, coughing, complaining hitman.
And as I cough, I come back, I look, and I have a bit of blood in my hand. So what I do is I just put my hand in my pocket, looking for a tissue, and then I just clean my bloody hand in my black coat pocket, and then I come back and make sure that nobody sees the inside of my palm, and then I I just swallowed that metallic,
Yeah.
saliva, and I look at him and I say, "Okay, boss, your call."
Hey, you know me. If someone tries to kill you, you have every right to kill them first. I would just prefer if people didn't go around killing each other. I would rather they would buy what I want to sell them at the price I want to sell it to them and not complain about it and not report it if it happens to be illegal. That's all. It could be a
Yeah,
great and happy place.
I will. You know what I think, boss? I do think I want to retire. I don't. I'd like to keep working until I'm dead, but I want to give him the place he deserves. It's not a big. I don't. There's no ego in the game for me, boss. So maybe we can have a little party one night, and then I can take his ambition away because he already has the spot. Do you know what I mean, boss? He already has the spot.
Oh, he has
Do you know what I mean?
he has the job. He has the job, but he doesn't have the respect. Doesn't have my respect yet. So I do want you to take him with you. I
Yeah.
just want you to be careful.
Okay.
And I
Look,
want
listen, boss.
both of you to come back. That's my challenge to you. You have to come back. None of this, oh,
Mm,
I'm dying. I'm going to go out and want to blaze of glory. No, you had to come back and retire at my house.
I
And you
don't,
agreed.
boss. I have no intention to be dramatic. It's not my type, and you know that. Nah, and you will find me dead in the on in the bathroom, probably half naked, pissing in a toilet. You
Well,
know
let's make another addendum to the agreement that you always go fully clothed. I've had enough shocks.
me. Listen, let's do that. I'll take care of JC.
But
Don't don't.
if you take Rory, that's he's not Mickey, but he's got a lot of people that are looking to him to be my number two someday, and that someday could be now. So I want you to take him. I want you to fix him, but it's a huge risk for me, man. It's a huge risk.
That's a lot of good men on one job. I understand. If you give me more men, that's a two. That's a two car. Three of us in the first car, and five goons. Take your smartest ones, not your strongest ones. They might come back. Yeah, give me five for a full car.
The Morgans came in and took all that territory, and they took the men with it. And the last of my army was at Dr. Call's tonight. Everything I've got left, except for some guys guarding some trucks and some guys guarding some barrels, everything I got left is in this house with you.
Okay, look. Mm. Okay, give me two men. Just at least two men to drag the body out of there. And needs Rory needs to come. First,
You're
I
right.
made a prom. I told him that my words my words are important. So I
I won't
told
make you
him,
break your word.
and it's his father. Mickey's his father. It's I think he will be grieving till he will bring his grief in his grave if he doesn't come back in with his father's body. And think about the respect he will have from the other man if Rory bring back his father's body. That will put him on another level of status. And we do need to have a party, boss. When we clarify these things, just to put everybody in its right place. So that
When
way you don't
Morgan's
have.
head is on my piano, then we can have a party.
I hear you. I hear you. And I think JC is the man for that.
That's what he tells me too.
Ah, dude, I saw him. I see it. And I think his arrogance is just because I'm still around. So I just need to make sure that you understand you know, I'm retiring. It's a slow retiring. That's all. It's just a slow
One
retiring.
last high profile kill.
Just a slow retiring. You know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
All
Yeah,
right.
make
So
it happen.
give me. Yeah. All right. So tomorrow we go with two men, one car, maybe two car for the body, Mickey's body, and it will be. We'll do good. We'll do good. But we need to talk with Rory when he arrives. It should be here in a minute. And then and we talk to him, and we get the info we're supposed to receive because you know I don't want to, boss. I don't want to get into your personal business, but Dr. Call gave Rory's medallion
Good.
to.
Where are they?
Let me
I mean,
explain. So
it's too late now. Lou's gone.
okay, so that was my question to you, boss. So what are these medallions? How are they supposed how are they supposed to work, if I may?
You believe in
Lou,
magic?
do you believe in magic, boss?
I wouldn't ask the question otherwise.
Well, if magic exists, it's all cure me. So for now, I don't believe in magic. But I
This is
respect your
why
beliefs. I respect your beliefs, boss. Don't worry about that. So I will get. I will. Rory is supposed to bring you medallions tonight, and we shall see.
didn't you ever wonder how I always knew what the other gangs were up to? How I could always send you to the right place? Didn't you ever wonder?
You have good intel, boss. You have
I
good. You
do.
always have. You
I
always have
always
good
have.
intel.
And not all of it has been alive. That's what Dr. Call was to me. I can already see the look on your face. But those seances, reaching out beyond death to talk to spirits, that's real. That's science. Maybe it's occult science, but I saw him do it, and the intel was real.
I don't move. I don't blink. I keep my eyes into his eyes. I'm sweating under the armpit, and I
Stressful.
say, okay, boss. Okay, boss. And I might be too old. I might be too old for this. It might be too late for me to indulge in those kind of beliefs. Why? But I believe you, and I believe you, and I respect your beliefs. So, uh,
But you saw Lou Malone.
saw something. Do you think Dr. Call can see me? Maybe I don't know. Maybe if we find he's not dead, and do you think he would? I've been kind of kind to him in the past. I never been harsh. I always been polite. So maybe he would see me. Maybe he has some answers. Do you think so? Do you would you believe that? And then I
I
kind
don't
of bit
know.
my I kind of bit
I,
my lip and then lick my lips and
I seem to remember, was it 23 or 24? Didn't you threaten one of his children or something?
don't stress. I just do the job. It's my job. I did my job. I always been polite. I never. I mean, you asked me. Just you asked me. So
Yeah,
you should be mad. You should be mad against you. You know.
because I sent you.
Yeah, because you sent me. I mean, I know.
Well,
I mean, listen. You know, it's maybe he forgot. Maybe he forgot.
Yeah, lots of fathers forget threats against their children. It's not important.
I never had children. I don't know, but I don't know what it feels like.
I got work to do and I'm tired and I don't want to talk anymore, so I'm done. Think about your plan. If you can get healed out of this arrangement without becoming a traitor to me and us and everything we've built, well, then I really hope you do it. Don't let them know who you are. Let them think you're just some tired old man. Make them heal you. Make them. And then burn them all to the ground.
I stand up, grab my hat. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, is it? I will have a plan. Do you want to meet in the kitchen? Do you want to meet in your office?
No, we'll meet in the kitchen. We'll annoy the
No.
maids. We can eat toast.
All right. I see you tomorrow. And then
He goes upstairs.
yeah, and then I go outside and I light on the porch. I light a cigarette and I wait for Rory.
Time is passing slowly. And the guards walking the perimeter and the guards who are in fixed positions, they're all starting to show like body language of how long is this guy going to stand out in the cold? Does he need something? Should we go talk to him?
I go and I take a walk. You know, there was a gentle snow that was falling. So I said, you know, maybe I can find some. I'm gonna take a walk while I'm waiting for Rory. Light a second cigarette. I just I let my hat to the guards and start taking a walk, being careful where I put my foot. And I go toward the wall that the bus pointed at me, where we said that the old Lou Malone passed through. And I start to look around, see if I can find some footprints.
Well, there are a lot of men and dogs that have been out patrolling. So finding footsteps is not your problem.
I uh I just take a look around the house. I walk around in the cold air, thinking about all these new realities that come uh, to mind, and you know, seeing that Rory is not really coming back. Uh, you know, I go around the house. I finish my cigarette, and then I go to bed.
Okay. Could I have from you a roll of the dice? Look at your constitution. Multiply by 5 for a percentage and roll, please.
I feel weak. I feel in pain. and I feel dizzy. Like my mind, some of my thoughts as I walk around and go back to the house. When I enter the house, I put my hand on the stairway, yeah,
Yeah, the railing.
the railing, and I stay there. You know, and everything is just.
One of the many servants quietly comes down the hallway, very subtly offers an arm. For support.
Which I don't grab. I look in the person's eye and I nod, saying
Are
thank you
you
with body language.
are you ready to go to your room?
Oh, I am. Oh, I am. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I'm just gonna take my time.
Certainly,
Everything's
sir.
gonna be all right. Everything's gonna
Would
be
you
all
like to have some tea or
right. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. And then I tried, and then I slowly climbed the stairs, holding the ramp.
so they go with you, right? Not together, just a few steps back, just in case. Very quiet, like they're not there.
And the time to climb the stair is long, and so because I'm very slow, and I think to myself, because I know they're there, I hear them. I don't look at them, but I hear them, and I'm like, okay, okay, my time is done here. I cannot I cannot keep doing this. I just can't. It doesn't make sense. I will have to work. I will have to work with JC. I will have to pass him the torch if I want to go out in dignity. That's that's what's riding in my head, and Rory needs to man up. Rory needs to close the curtain on his grief and needs to fill up his pride and his self-esteem in a good place. We need to put it in a good place. That's what I need to do. I don't need to kill nobody. I don't need to fight nobody. I need just to make people happy before I go. And it's a sense of empathy, a big sense of empathy that kind of come up to him, because now the only thing that makes sense is to leave this world in a good way, in a way that may that is beautiful, that is moral, because his life has not been. It has been in a certain way, but has not been in another way. And now it's kind of like his last chance to make amends, if I can say. So I end up climbing the stairs, and I go straight to my room to sleep.
Everything is nicely prepared. It's a very nice room. Soft lights. There's an armchair, large, soft bed. There's a phone, and there's a note card for the house physician, the house doctor. So if you need anything, it's very easy to obtain it. It's a big porcelain wash basin and a big porcelain jug, in case you want to wash up but not go to the washroom. The window is a glass door with heavy wooden shutters that can also close for security. But there's a balcony out there which looks over the side lawn, which is the lawn, apparently, that old Lou Malone ran across and escaped through the wall. The house is mostly quiet, but a big part of that is that the house is very carefully designed to be quiet inside and out, just in case. In the closet are many suits in your size.
So yeah, I noticed all that. And I when I undress and put my old clothes in some in on a hanger to be cleaned and washed. I go to bed saying to myself, I'll be looking good tomorrow. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a long day.
Sleep is interrupted. Coughing, chills, pain. But there are moments of sleep. But it seems like a strange combination of too many hours, but only just a few minutes before the sunlight is streaming through the French doors of the balcony. And the sounds, distant, right? Muffled sounds of people moving, waking up, doors opening, doors closing. No conversations.
Yeah.
Footsteps on the stairs or from the stairs up above.
Mm-hmm. I wake up, I stand up, and like every morning, I do my routine. So what I start with a bunch of push-ups. I can still do 100 in one turn. The form is not good, but the pace is fast, and every rep I do, you can hear in the breath the number. And then I do, as soon as I'm done with that, I stay in the push-up position, the plank, and then I roll it, roll the plank, and then I jump into a squat position, then a bunch of squat. Do that for like 15 minutes, and I can still do them. But when I'm done, I have to hold myself to the bed, catch my breath a little bit. I'm sweating, get into the bath, pour myself some water, clean up real quick, nothing too fancy, but I'm clean. Smell somehow fresh. And when I open the closet and I see all the clothes and the shoes, I decide to send a message to everyone in this house. that I'm retiring. And so instead of going to my usual very dark, very slick colors and textures, I decided to go to a light brown pinstripe clear shirt with matching colors with the shoes, with beige socks, that I strap very high, over the calf. And I take a hat just as brown as the other, but it's woolen, so it's not doesn't. I don't look mean. I don't look bad. I don't look like death. And then I get out of the room, look myself in the mirror. I get out of the room, and it somehow light up my skin, my color. And I go up and go down. I have the jacket over my hand, the blood flow of the bath, the hot water, and the little workout that I did kind of like uplifted me a little bit. I get down and I go meet the boss in the kitchen. And so I go. So I decide. When I pass everyone I see, I'm not a big smiler, but I have a kind face and I nod to everyone that I see. And I have a straight posture and a good beat, a good pace to my steps. And the shoes that I had chosen, they have a wooden sole. So what it does is talk, 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 talk whenever I hit the floor with them. And I go to the kitchen to meet the boss.
Boss is there. He's holding the paper. The front and back page sheet are crumpled up, tossed on the floor. He's holding, right, page 3 and the second to last page, right, just ignoring the front page. It's obvious on the floor. He looked at it. He ripped it off the paper and threw it on the ground. That's obvious. You can see this giant headline which just says "Mob Massacre." He just says, "Good morning." He pushes this big stack of toast in your direction. There's a bunch of different jams on the table. He's got coffee, and he's been eating for a while.
So I go, I say, "Hey, good morning, boss." I put the jacket over the chair. I put the hat, in the back of the chair. And before I sit and take the front page this whole thick paper from the 30s, already pressed, like, fold it again to make it look nice again. And then I kind of take it, and then as I sit, I take a quick look at it, but I don't mind it for now. I put it on my side of the table, gather some toast, pour me some coffee, pour me some water, pour me a glass of milk. I have these 3 glasses in front of me. And then before I start, getting myself to eat and drink and all that, I sit and I say, "Do you have news from Rory? Never came back last night."
You're right. He never came back, and he's not at his house, and his women don't know where he is. And I
Which
can't
one?
spare anybody to look for him.
Have you talked to the three of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's bad news. That's bad news. That's very bad news.
And it gets worse. I mean, this newspaper article that you so nicely folded up again, it's garbage. It's the usual stuff. No real details. It's mostly a celebration. Rejoice. The mobsters are dead. But there's a little bit of pushing the fear, but be careful, because some, terrible gang violence is headed your way. So the mayor's going to have to make a statement, and the chief of police is going to have to make a statement, and someone is going to have to take a fall and pretend they were the one who tore apart that many men. Hear that? Tore apart.
Yeah, I did that myself back in my younger years. We had to do that from time to time. So I mean,
Not cut. Tore.
when he says that, I grabbed a cup of coffee, take a sip. Okay.
So Morgan's
So-
sending us a message.
Oh, you believe it's the Morgans who did that?
Well, I mean, it wasn't anybody else.
What about Lou Malone? What
I
about
didn't even.
old Lou Malone's ghost?
I didn't think about that. But I mean, he wasn't.
If he's coming back from the dead, that's the only way I can. If he's coming back from the dead, it's the only after being cut in the face like I saw. That's the only way I can see that someone is tearing apart many people in one place.
There was good men with Dr. Call, though. I mean, Lou Malone couldn't do that here in my house. I don't see why he would do it.
Okay. I mean,
But
I understand.
there was a story. I didn't really pay attention to it. Did you tell me you went to the auction house?
I did.
Did you see anything strange there?
Yes.
Because there was a report that a guard was put in the hospital. And, he's on our payroll in case we ever want anything, to borrow anything from the auction house. There was a report that he was thrown like 50 feet and way up in the air. Right?
That okay.
Broke all the bones in his body. He's still in the hospital now.
I met some people there, and that's not what they told me. So I guess I've been lied to. I guess I've been lied to.
So you believe that story then?
Well, I had no reason not to believe what they say. The guy said that there was a crane there. The crane could reach high, and he said that it was just it happens sometimes. It's just that they lift a heavy statue. They had some problem, and they hit the wall, and it made all the sense. I was there. I was watching the whole thing. It made a lot of sense, but it did look like a body that has been thrown there in the wall. But statues sometimes have human sized features, and listen, but I mean that's a whole lot of he says, she says.
Exactly.
At least in my book. No.
Can't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't focus on it.
Well, look, there's something fishy with this auction house for sure because I went there and everything was new, fresh paint. There were two men there, eager to clean at late hours. Um, I don't know. It's a weird place, but we have some more important matter to deal with today. If you know, and I need Rory. I'm not doing the job to get, and every hour that passes, Nikki's body is
Yeah.
getting
So you have to
in
find
worse.
Rory.
I need to find Rory. Do you know? Have you already? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go try to find Rory. Um, I know I know where to look. I'm gonna have to take a look, and report to you as soon as possible. It's still early. I still have some time, um, and so I'm gonna have to try to find. Oh man, I know where it is, but I don't know where he lives. He said he went to a photographer, a friend of his from school. His name is Callum McInnes. I don't know where he
Oh,
lives. Do you know where he lives?
I don't know where he lives, but I know who you know who I and starts snapping his fingers, and a maid leans in and he says, bring me the the and she comes back a few minutes later with a stack of true crime glossy magazines. So if we go back far enough, some of these are yours. And he just starts flipping through pages, right? And it's large print, simple vocabulary, descriptions of all the violent things that the gangs are doing with these really graphic, sometimes not true to the crime scene. Like the body is in a position that you know they weren't in because you killed them.
I look at that. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. So that's the man.
And a lot of these photos are by Callum McInnes.
I look at the back of the magazine to see if I can get some information about the identity.
Yep, no problem. So you're set then. Great, he says. Good luck.
Yeah, well, I yeah, I go. I gather the magazine. I gather the magazine and I leave. I finish my meal. Finish my. I I get the paper and you know I ask them before I stand up, take my coat, take my hat, get dressed, put my hat on, and I say, so who's my driver today, boss? I will need a car unless you want me to take a cab.
You got two cars waiting out front. I picked two guys to go with you, and Rory and JC.
Okay, so Rory is here.
Well, Rory's not here. He was supposed to go with you.
Oh, you say okay, so JC is here.
JC's here. I picked two guys for you, and you're gonna
Oh,
have to go
okay.
find.
Okay. Yeah,
You're
I
gonna.
understand, but I understand, but I just woke up. That's all. Is all. I just woke up. Is all. All right. Gather my stuff. Go outside. Meet with the guys.
Okay.
So as I'm walking outside on the porch, I have the paper under my armpit. Light myself a cigarette. I have my crotch wide open in my usual stance, and I have the jacket back. I see and I look at the situation.
The cars are perfect. Little old, little dusty, brown Fords. In good condition, like someone's been taking care of them, but not in great condition because whoever took care of them is poor. You know, they're perfect. You can park them anywhere, you can drive them anywhere, no one will look at them. The two men look pretty young. Red hair, freckles. They have to be cousins of Mickey. They look pretty serious, pretty angry. Not at you, just the world.
Mm.
And JC is leaning up against the car, has his hat pushed back, and he just has a look of waiting on his face.
So I go down the stairs. I nod. In front of all these guys, I nod, and I stand in front of them in my position, and then I go in order from you know, in the left I have the two red hair guy, on the right I have JC. So I go on the left and I shake hands.
He says, Malcolm.
Yeah, well, nice to meet you, Malcolm. What's your name? And the other
Randall.
one, Randall. And I finish with JC. I go toward him, look at him in the eyes, and I nod and I grab and I throw my hand.
He takes it.
And I take it kindly, and I say, JC, it's a pleasure. All right, so JC and I said to the guys, I said, JC and I are gonna sit in the back. We need to talk. Can you and I give the address that I have for the agency
Right.
in Malcolm. Can you drove us there, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then I
Malcolm's
opened the
your
door.
driver.
Yeah,
Randall's going to be the other driver.
yeah. And I opened the door to JC,
Oh, you're
and
too kind.
I show him the way, and then I walk around myself, open my door on the other side, and then I sit. So then, as we sit in, I take my hat off, I put it on my knees, and then I kind of sit comfortably, like that, kind of to be able to look at him somehow in the back of the car, and I say, okay, JC, we need to talk. First off, I want to say thank you for being part of this project. It's a pleasure to work with a young and healthy and strong partner, just like yourself. The boss has great words about you, and it's an honor. So I just want you to know that it's an important job that we're doing today for Rory. Have you talked with the boss a little bit? Do you know what's going on right now?
Well, I was expecting that we were going to go into enemy territory. But now we're going to collect Rory from wherever it is that he has gone.
All right. Um, okay, so you probably know this already, but I'm retiring, and I put my hand on the chest. I'm retiring, and I don't have much. I don't have much left in terms of these kind of work and this kind of stuff. And this family is all that is left for me. So I really like you to take my place, to be to do and serve this family as good as I did. I don't know if it's something that you want or if it's something that you aspire to, but for me, I think it's kind of important to kind of pass the torch because the boss and this family are in serious situation at the moment. And as you know, I'm pretty sure you know.
Yes. The final count from Dr. Call's office last night was, well, Rory survived because he wasn't there. He was with you. And we now know that Tommy O'Riordan survived. Maybe one or two others. One was sent to watch a reporter, and one was sent to watch this magazine guy. Tommy was sent to watch some antique dealer.
And the boss send them. That's what you're saying.
No, according to Tommy, Dr. Call
Yeah, that's what I thought.
sent them to protect
Yeah.
these guys. So,
It is.
based
It is
on
very.
Tommy's tip-off, I tried to find them. And no sign of the reporter. No sign of his guard. No sign of McInnes. No sign of his guard.
Okay.
So if you want to skip going to the magazine and go directly to McInnes's house, I know where that is.
You see? You see that? You see, JC? That is why this family needs you. That is why. And then I kind of, I kind of say this to him, so we can get closer, you know. And then we get a little bit closer. I put my hat. I, I put my hand like this in the back, and I say, "Why don't you lead us? Tell Malcolm in the front. You shall be doing that." And then I just, I lean back and I look outside the window.
If you like. She leans forward, taps Malcolm, gives him an address. And you know the part of town. This is low rent. And these days, desperate living. Pretty far from here, both geographically and philosophically, but certainly financially. Very far from here.
So during the time we are in the car, I, I say, I sit and I say, all right, JC. So, like we in these parts we don't like to talk about ourselves and about personal matters. So I won't ask you where you're from or what your story is. I won't ask you your name either. JC's fine for me. what else do you know? What else do you know? Because look, I've been hearing all kinds of stories for the last couple of days, and people coming back from dead, limbs coming back from wherever they were, people going through walls, spiritism and seance and magic. What do you know about all that? What do you know also about, Dr. Call and the silver, those heretics, the silver shining star,
Well,
the hermetic order of the silver twilight, and I just want to know where you stand about all that.
I don't know anything about a Silver Order of Twilight, but I know there's got to be a reason why our respected doctor is now a gangster and patching gangsters' bullet wounds up in the middle of the night in some terrible office on a nowhere street. I know that. I know that last night we lost a lot of good men, soldiers. But I know that 2 weeks ago, a lot of good men just disappeared.
Disappeared? What do you mean by that?
Well, at first I thought they got a
How
better
many?
offer. They weren't loyal. I'm talking about everybody down at the docks.
You mean oh, okay. So have you heard about a tattooed face man? Because there is I keep on hearing about a tattooed face man who went to the dock, you know, paint the walls there, take back all the territory. Like the Morgans, they seem stronger than they're supposed to be somehow. It's hard for me to understand.
Me too. Now he's getting more animated. Maybe because you're talking about death. It's like it's almost biblical, right? But like not like in the Bible where you paint the door and the angel of death would pass over, right? They painted the buildings and the angel of death came down hard. And when it was gone, this all the rabble from the streets just rolled in there and they started fixing windows and painting walls and fixing the streets and cutting wood and making beds and sewing quilts and cooking food. And it's just like, where would the money for all of that come from? Where did these guys? It's like they rolled out of the fog, like they came up out of the sea. They wiped away everyone we had down there. Boss won't talk about it.
Wait a minute. You said there's a fog that went down the street, or is this a metaphor? I'm sorry, my head is turning.
I wasn't there, or I'd be gone too. But haven't you noticed the weather?
It's kind of cold for November. I noticed that. I noticed that it's early
There
snow.
was this much snow around Dr. Call's dump.
Are you serious?
Yes, we went from nothing. It kind of snowed all day, and then we had this massive storm. just in time for all of our guys to get wiped out. And now today, it's like a normal November day. And the snow is melting, and the birds are singing, and the city of Boston is rejoicing at the death of the mob.
Yeah, I saw that in the paper. We okay, listen, JC. Very important for me that Rory comes with us tonight. Come with us tonight.
All right.
It's very important. It's important for this family, and I would even say that it's important for you. You're talking about here, like you're talking about Mickey's memories and bringing back one of her own home. And so this is probably the most important job of my career. I don't necessarily say it's the end or it's not, I don't see it that way. But it's probably the most important job of my career. And I'm not saying that lightly. And maybe one of the most important job, at least for you to kickstart your career. And I'm being honest. Now, if we don't find Rory, we're still gonna have to do it. But we're gonna have to talk to the boss first. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hope we find Rory at McInnes, or at least a sense of what's going on.
Sure.
Have you heard about? Because you seem to know a little bit more about what I used to know until Rory told me about McGinnis and Eddie Driscoll, and now you talk to me about this antique shop individual. Do you have a name for this antique shop person? Do you know? Do you think you know him?
It's on Newberry Street. I think it's the only. Well, it can't be the only antique shop on Newberry Street. Smalls.
Oh. All right. Now, have you heard about
Driscoll's nothing.
What do you mean Driscoll's nothing?
Well, I mean,
he's a reporter, so you must know a lot of stuff that we don't.
Driscoll's a private investigator. Used to be a boxer. Really good boxer. He was a great boxer. And he's a famous private investigator because, well, I think because Mickey liked him.
Where I got myself a little bit mixed up. You know, it's a lot of stuff happening.
Driscoll's the guy whose office
I
is
know.
in front of the cult.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so last thing that I have, have you heard about the medallion or some sort of medallion? Do you know something about that?
No.
Well, let me enlighten you for what I know. I don't know much. Rory told me that Dr. Call gave him medallion, saying, bring that to the boss. After he brought the 3 jokers. After he brought these people to him. And when I asked the boss about the medallion, he said that those were for old Lou Malone. Some magic thing. Like, I don't know. I know occult believer or anything. Rory, for some reason, that I have no idea. Rory is Rory, and you know him, but he took one of the medallions and gave it to Callum McInnes.
Did he?
For no reason that he could not explain to me. He said it was out of his control. It felt like he had to. And so I said to him, go get it back, bring it back tonight. You made a mistake, get it back. And this is
Oh,
what we
and
are.
he didn't come back.
And he never came back. So this is why we are going there right now. Get the medallion and get Rory to do the job. So it's just for honesty, what you are getting yourself into. That is what we are doing right now.
So at this, he raises his hands in a, peace gesture, and then begins to check his guns. He says, Rory didn't go home, right? He's checking everything very carefully. When he's satisfied, puts it away, takes out the next one, right? And he's got more than two. He didn't go home. He didn't go to his fiancées. He didn't go to his mistress. He didn't go to his 3 girlfriends. He didn't go to the bar. He didn't go gambling.
I look outside the window. I nod. I turn around. I look outside the window, and I don't say a word until we arrive.
Okay. So as you're getting close, you don't know the exact building, of course, but you know the neighborhood. Row after row of identical, depressing neighborhood. Yeah. The windows are boarded up, or they're covered in newspaper, or they're covered in cheap fabric to keep the wind out, and no lights. People are huddled outside, or they're lined up in front of bread lines or soup kitchens, or in front of a church, right, as you're passing through the neighborhood. JC leans forward, taps Malcolm again. Right, says, stay with the car. Get the shotgun out of the back. And while he's doing that, further down the street, you can see Rory's car. It's not parked properly. It's up on the curb on an angle, and the passenger door is open. There's a bunch of kids standing around it.
I tap on JC's shoulder as we get out of the car, and look toward the McGinnis building. I tap on JC's shoulder, and I just nod toward the car there, and that's Rory's.
Okay, let's park here.
I think we should go check that first. I don't want you to go there alone, unless you want to.
Wait. You see that guy? He's pointing to tall guy, blue suit, pinstripe, white hat. Has a winter coat, overcoat over it, but it's blown open. He's showing his gun butt, right? The kids are all just treating him like he's some kind of street hero, Definitely not O'Shaughnessy.
I go there. I said, JC, Would you mind if we do that before?
Yeah, you two stay with the car.
We walk toward the car, Rory's car. As I get closer, I walk just a little bit in front of JC. I have my hand in my pocket, wide stance, feet a little bit like a duck, a penguin. And then I say, "Hey, all out there, what happened here? Looks a little bit cross-sighted."
So as you've been closing, what he's been saying to the kids is getting a you can start to hear it before you interrupt him. You know. And he's saying something like, he saw me and he turned around, his face went white, and he ran like the coward that he. And then you interrupt him. And he squints at you. Like maybe he should be wearing glasses, but he's not. Squints at you. His eyes flick to JC, they flick back to you. You don't really look like you. Brown suit, brown hat, wooden shoes. But he knows enough to be afraid. And no words are coming out of his mouth. It's like, is this your car?
I look at him, I say, "Doesn't matter. Who are you? What you're doing here? Who are these kids?" "Hey, get away, kids! Get away, kids! Get out of here! Get out of here! The mother's calling you! Get out of here!" And then I kind of kick. I kind of kick, like one of the kids. "Get out of here!"
Right. So the kids have been yelling, right? He beat Rory O'Shaughnessy. He's scared of running. Rory O'Shaughnessy, big famous gangster in the paper all the time, right?
Yeah, get out of here! I trying to get
They
the
scatter.
kids
They're no
to
strangers
scatter.
to violence. They scatter.
So I come closer to the guy, hands in my pocket. I take my cigarettes out, light myself a cigarette. "So what you doing here, fella?" And I,
Give
and
me
then and when I was on the way there, before I get the kids out, I said to JC, "I do the talking." Before we were close enough to be here, I said, "I do the talking. You search the car." And then I go there, I scatter the kids, and then I say, "So who are you, fella? What you doing here?"
well, he's nervous. He's intimidated. He's also in his own territory. He doesn't know. He obviously doesn't know who you are. And he's like, "No, who are you?" And his hand goes to the gun butt because that's what he understands about force.
I look at him, I say, "Oh, hold on, fella. Hold on. There's no need for that. Do you
Then
want
tell
a
me who you
cigarette?
are.
Do you want a cigarette?"
I don't need your cigarettes. I need your answers. Now he's getting
Okay,
all.
yeah, okay. So I take my hand out of my pocket. I put my hand in front. I say, "My name is Mr. Plantin. Mr. Plantin. Where, what is it that and what's your name?" Now that I gave you mine, and I give you my hand, and I give you my hand. Take that hand away from that gun. Doesn't matter. Ah, no, nice to meet you. What's your name? My name is Plantin.
My name's Ron.
All right, you see, there's no problem. No problem. So what's up with the car? We were just walking down the street and we see that bunch of kids around, and you are there, flashing your piece, and then being all fuzzy with
Well,
the
the story I
kids and the
told was
car.
true. I mean, I caught Rory O'Shaughnessy sticking his nose where he shouldn't have been. I challenged him and he took off and left his car, so I consider the car to be mine.
Oh, so you consider the car to be yours?
Yeah, so I would invite your skinny friend there. I know who you are. I know who you guys work for. Keep your hands off my car.
Okay, I will persuade him to get away without making a mess. So, fella, you now need to walk away. There's kids in the neighborhood. Nobody wants to make the paper tomorrow morning, right?
All right.
And as I, you know, talk to him, try to persuade him, I start coughing. And then I start coughing, and then I put my hand on the car door is open. So I put that kind of. I don't have time. I don't have time for this. So you could.
So I think you guys should move on
Oh yeah.
before I call my boys and teach
Before you
you
call your
manners.
before you call your boy. So as you say that, I say, all right, you're right. We do need to go. You're right. We're gonna go. I turn around. I look at JC, who clearly heard everything. Look at him, and I give him a wink and a very very subtle sign, clearly saying, "Deal with the man." And then I turn around and I start walking on the back of Rory's car. I was next to the door. I was, the door was me in between the Ron guy. So I
Yeah.
turn around, and then as
Ron,
I
no
turn around,
last name.
exactly, as I turn around, I wink to JC, who was looking at me, waiting to see, and then I give him a call to take care of that guy, and then I go in the back of Rory's car and I open the trunk.
Okay. So, JC's way of dealing with Ron, he doesn't use this gun or this gun or this other gun or any of the other guns. He throws a knife. Which strikes what will be a fatal wound, but right now is leaving Ron gasping up blood.
As that happens, because I open the trunk and I see that from the inside window, I quickly go around the car, grab Ron from the back before he falls down. I twist the knife in his wound at the same time, and I help him toward the trunk and push it using the knife as a stick, push it in the trunk and quickly.
And his face is that same face, that surprise. Like, me? How could this happen to me? And he doesn't want to get in the trunk, but each movement of his arms is getting weaker and weaker as the very few seconds of his life are leaking out of this much larger hole that you have facilitated.
I put the leg in, and then when I put the leg in, I take the knife out, cut his throat, and put it there, fought very slowly, and in a very. I've done that so many times. It's just like a choreography. Oh, put the foot goes. That the whole thing must have, I don't know, took maybe 15 seconds. And then I turn around at the JC, say, "You see, this is why you're important for this family. Let's search that car quick. We're not gonna have much time. People have seen this in the middle of the street. The kids are everywhere. Let's make it quick. And we need to go to McInnes. We need to and also we need to kind of disappear from that street as well, because you know."
Nobody's going to talk. Now, this building, that's McInnes's building. Of course, he lives on the top floor, no elevator. Rory's car tells me that he was in a hurry.
Yeah. I'm gonna look inside. In all the secret places that I know Rory utilized in his car. See if I can find anything that is useful.
There are, of course, hidden guns, stash of cash, nothing else.
Grab the gun, grab the cash. And I say, "Yo, let's get out of here." JC, and we go toward McInnes building. But before that, I go to Malcolm and Randall. And before entering, I said to the guys, I say, "Okay, so it's dirty already. Take a look around. There is a situation. There might be some action. Be careful." And I hide the car behind the building. We're gonna get out from behind and gonna leave from another street.
Okay. Is there any sign of Rory?
Not yet.
Okay. By the time you're finished with that, JC is straightening up from the steering wheel of Rory's car. He has removed the registration.
So
Ready to
I go to I go to him. I say, "Yeah, I'm gonna lead the way. Look behind. I'd rather take, if there is anything, JC. I'd rather take the shot first. I do think you're more important for this family than I. So I'll be in the front. I'll cover you if you don't mind. If you don't
I don't mind. I'd like to live to be as old as you.
I I have kind of like a smile. The first time I smile in months. It's kind of like it, but it's not a real smile. It's just a kind of grin on the side. And we go inside the building, and he gave me the number, and we go to the apartment.
The walk up is really difficult. Uneven steps. And so your heart rate pounding, the dizziness comes and goes, muscle fatigue, aches and panes. It's a long way up. And on every landing, there's clotheslines with people trying to dry clothes before they freeze. And, the doors are thin, the walls are thin, you can hear everything going on. Some of these are apartments, it's true. Some of them are businesses. Some of them are both. Right. There's one phone on the ground floor. Seems like everybody uses it. There's notes everywhere around it. Paint's peeling, water's dripping inside. There's heating pipes. Not working. All the way up on the 5th floor, there are a number of large spaces behind very weak, flimsy doors, one of which is photography studio. Printed on the door. But the door is open. And the lock plate is ripped out of the frame of the doorway.
I take my blackjack out, put it around my wrist, and I slowly push the door with the blackjack, getting myself in an angle that is better for perceiving what's inside. The door reads as I push it, and then I kind of just glance inside and listen and smell as well.
The smell hits you as soon as the door moves, disturbing the air. Chemicals, photographic chemicals, and dead body.
As soon as I smell the dead body that I recognize, I open the door and I enter. I take a look at what's going on.
The room is very long, stretching away from the doorway to your right. It's a very narrow space, immediately inward, just with a row of hooks to put coats and hats, right? A rack to put boots and bags and umbrellas and things on, right? But the bulk of the studio is way down off to your right, with big windows and draft, right? You can see all the equipment for his photography and developing pictures and different cameras and pieces of cameras and pieces of wood. But in the center of the room is an armchair, overstuffed, old, ripped in many places, well used. Maybe it was garbage and he just brought it in here. But it's on its back. A skinned man is in the chair, arms thrown wide, right? Splashes of blood spraying out as if he were in the chair when it fell over. His skin, uncut, is dangling from the fan in the ceiling. Fan blade in the mouth of the skin suit. And as it passes, that smell of death and decay heads your way. Not a cut on the skin. And even for a cold-blooded murderer like you, that is too much.
I I start being very dizzy. I kind of like step away and I'm like, whoa. And then everything starts to turn. And I grab JC's arm, put a knee on the ground. And I said, no, no,
And then he sees it.
no, no, no. And then I as I have my knee on the ground, I have my gun at my ankle.
Ankle.
I take it out. I take it out. And then I start rushing in the apartment with the gun out. Where are you?
JC's doing the same thing.
Where is motherfucker? Where are you? And then I flip everything I see around. Bed sheets, mattress. I open the closet, take the clothes out. Where are you? Kick doors. I open the fridge. I just turn the place apart.
Man doesn't own much.
I have this thing where inside of me where I am very, very now I'm confused. I don't understand what's going on. I am really, really, really in a weird situation. I eventually I calm down and I put eventually I calm down and I put my my gun away.
JC follows suit because there's nothing to kill. There's no place to hide. There's nothing to hide under. There's nothing to hide behind.
I say, hey, JC, have you seen anything like this before?
No. He keeps
take a look
looking
at-
at the skin.
I take a look at the skin and I'm like trying to see if I recognize who it is.
Well, it's not Rory. The hair's not red.
I'm gonna be searching the place. Looking. I say, and I ask JC. I say, do you think that is? Do you think that is my voice is different? My breathing is different. Do you think that is that this is McInnes? Have you seen the guy before? Is there a picture of him maybe in the place? Oh man, I yeah. I start looking around.
There's no clothes.
That's just the studio, right? He doesn't live here.
Yeah, but I mean, body, skin, no clothes.
I understand.
I changed
I'm
my mind.
searching
We
the
need to
place.
get out of here.
Yeah, but we need to. If the medallions are here, we need to bring them back to the boss. Let's take a look. Let's at least search the place, see if we can find the medallion, or at least some clue where Rory is. At least some clue where Rory is. I'm gonna set the fan, and I'm gonna set the fan, and I'm gonna take the skin down. See if there's any sign.
Shutting off the fan, right? Slows down and the skin slides off.
Yeah, I'm gonna examine it, see if I can find any sign whatsoever that can any clue whatsoever of who might have done such a thing, how, and yeah.
JC ends up putting his hand in through the mouth to try to give the head shape. And then looks for something to clean his hand up with. Takes out his handkerchief and starts to wipe it off. Very expensive handkerchief. Somebody kicked in the door. Somebody had time to do this impossible thing. There is no cut. There is no seam. But this is where things get worse. Because the heart of the man in the chair is still beating. And suddenly, the lungs inflate so that he can scream. We'll close the curtain for tonight.
This reminds me of so many things. It reminds me of Seven from David Fincher.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. Somehow. That was my favorite session we had together in this game. Maybe of all our sessions, I don't know. I don't remind all the sessions we had, but I mean in the past, many years ago. But in this game, this is my favorite. I felt like there was still some confusion, but not the same kind of confusion. Now it's confusion in character confusion. So,
which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, because I take notes. So I am diligent as a player, but the game, it's real investigation. This is
You're involved in a real investigation, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm involved in a real investigation, and my guy is not a police detective.
Right.
So it's not even about having the skills and making the role. It's about just trying to follow. And so now and when we talk about immersion, I think for me that is what is immersion in the sense of I am in character, I receive information, I got a note, but I get confused. I get confused. Sure. There's so much things, so much. Let's, for example, the three jokers. Well, now I have to find their names, but not everybody who knows their names. So it's like, who they are, what is that? And then the more I know, the more new names comes in and more new details comes in, and it's kind of like a big web of stuff getting, it's a real investigation.
This part is fascinating for me because I don't know how you picture a hitman or, the way they look at people. You mentioned you didn't want to play a psychopath, but you also mentioned you wanted to play a real killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it struck me that someone who is a real killer can't, in a sense, care that much about people. There's these people, they're the okay people that I work for or whatever, and then there's the targets who are not people, or some way to make it okay to do what you have to do to them. So it's been interesting to me that you have been pursuing all of these names, right? The most the most symbolic aspect of a person, right? What is your name? You know, who are you? I am, you know, Joe Smith, or I am Rory O'Shaughnessy. You've been collecting all these names, and it's, I don't know, there's some metaphorical power in that for me.
I'm not sure what to understand what you mean.
I guess I just see that it's interesting that the gunman would be sent out to go kill someone,
Mm-hmm.
to end their lives, to cease them being people. But now you're in pursuit in the opposite way. You're trying to find out who these people are and what these people know and what their names are. And
Oh yes, it's a different situation. I don't know. Yeah, it's a different situation. I yeah, yeah, I don't know. I have so much things to say. Um,
but you had fun.
yeah, I had fun. I have so much things to say for and not enough time. We're gonna have to have another conversation, but let's try to be productive in the sake of this post game thing. So
Sure.
in this game, what I notice is some confusion in character. Now,
Right.
confusion in character for me, it's not a bad thing. You know,
Mm.
like you said, I told you like I am sick, I am fuzzy, I don't understand everything. So for me, it makes sense, and it's kind of cool because I don't know everything. I'm very lost. My character is lost. He doesn't
Right.
understand what's going on, and that I rarely felt that in a game because most of the time in games, in RPG games, depending on the level of role play or in character play or stuff like that, you have a lot of meta stuff going on. And eventually, when there's a lot of meta talking, what happens is that you end up knowing things
Right.
because the GM makes deduction for you, and then you understand. Oh, okay, and then. But now we are in character all the time, so there's not a lot of that. So it's just I need to ask. If I want to know something, I need to ask or I need to search. So but at the same time, so like we discussed already, I don't want to be Sherlock Holmes because he's not Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
But at the same time, I kind of have to a little bit because now I'm looking for Rory O'Shaughnessy, and if I want to find him, I need to ask questions and I need to find out. So I'm a retiring, dying hitman who is on a job that he's never had to do before, meaning like finding
Stave Rory
people,
O'Shaughnessy.
saving lives, yeah, saving people. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to kill. So that is kind of cool in and of itself because it's we're not playing a gangster game. We're playing a Call of Cthulhu game.
Right.
Now, the so so I thought that we are more comfortable. I know more the house, the scene, the places, the people. So now I'm just able to be the character in his everyday moment. Getting, you know, it's the second time I eat toast with the boss. I slept in my new room. I put the clothes and I washed myself and I did my routine. So I'm embodying the character a little bit more because now it's the third session. It's so third or yeah, third session
Third. Yeah.
third. So, and I feel like we still progress. Stuff is happening. We're not stuck in anything. I see things going on. Now there's new character coming in again, and I decided to establish myself as a really retiring, dying hitman, not an ego tripping guy who wants to be the best still or whatever.
Yeah.
I started that way, but I was not. I started that way, but for some reason I assumed when I decided to go live at the house, I said, "There's no more mystery around me now. It's over. I am I am retiring. I am dying. There is people following me up the stairs now. It's just everybody sees it. There's nothing I can. I'm gonna be fooling myself around if I keep on. People, I will lose my credibility if I keep up being like this tough guy when everybody sees that it's not true. So I said, all right, I'm gonna play authentic, authenticity. Like, authenticity sometimes is powerful. So I'm gonna see how it goes. And then I tried to persuade the guy. I tried to kind of intimidate him, persuade him to go. And then I failed my roles. I'm like, fuck, man, I don't even have the opportunity to show JC that I'm still useful. I was so pissed. I was so pissed at the dice. I gotta be honest. I was pissed at the dice. I was like, fuck me, man. How am I gonna do that? So I just, I ended up doing the scene that we just saw, and I love that scene. I like that scene. I like that scene a lot. But I have a question. Okay, so I have a technical question to you. So I roll the dice. So I roll a 93 on my 65 sanity points. So I have to do the difference.
No. I will tell you
how much
like
I
now,
lost.
like at the end of the session, how much you've lost. Like
So I
normally,
lost
normally I would just, if we were not playing with any kind of social contract or whatever, I would just say I would lose this many points. But you started a description of the physical effects. Those were appropriate physical effects, and just let it ride. If they weren't strong enough, then I would add to them, and then you'd get a hint that, I lost a lot of sanity, right? But that didn't happen. So you have lost 2 points of sanity.
Oh, wow. That's
from that experience.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so 1, 2, boom. Okay, now 65 to 63. Is that so?
Right. Yep, that's correct.
All right. So perfect. Now there are some moments where I was not sure if I should have rolled, because I know you a little bit, so I know the body language that kind of takes your turn in your face, soul expression somehow. So at one point I was like, because I said I'm looking for information in the newspaper, and then I said I'm searching the room for clues where Rory might be. So I assume, I was looking at my skills, but I didn't see search or anything that looks like that.
And so the way that it works is, if you want to search, you tell me where and how you search.
Which I did.
And if there's something there that your search would uncover, then you'll find it.
Oh, I will find it automatically.
Right, because like, let's say that there is a desk, and on the bottom of the drawer someone has taped a letter, and you describe opening the desk drawer, looking inside, and closing the desk drawer. You don't find it. I take out the desk drawer, I turn it upside down, and I look at the bottom. You find it.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Now, if you know there's something hidden in the room, then there's a skill that you do have that's called spot hidden.
I know.
Right. This is used for when something is actively hidden. Right. Where the normal search couldn't find it, but you're skilled in that thing, so it's now possible, depending on the role, for you to find it, because you're trained to notice the things that people don't notice. So that's what that's for. It's not just a perception roll.
Okay, I have 2 questions. So the first one is, so when I said I searched the apartment, or I searched the skin, you would have preferred me to say I searched the apartment like this. I opened the drawers, look inside, turn them upside down. I turn the table upside down. So you can see if I can find the stuff that you have in mind.
Right.
Okay.
And also, so you can imagine it as well, because it's about the experience of doing it. Yeah.
So
now you had already destroyed the apartment.
That's true. Yeah. So if there was something somewhere, I would have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why when I said I'm searching the apartment, you said it's not even worth it.
You know that there's nothing here, and there's no place to hide.
Okay.
It's just a studio, and
So for the future of our session, whenever I search, I shall describe how I search a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not
Just like any
saying
other
like,
scene. Yeah.
yeah, not saying like I go in the apartment and I search the apartment. That's
What
too
do I find?
vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too broad. That's too vague. So you want a little bit more of in the description. Okay, so that is a social contracting. Perfect. Now, whenever it's
Also,
but it's
if
okay.
there's not enough time, like you've got 2 minutes and the owner of the room is going to come back,
Yeah,
then I'm going to have you roll.
but it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that uh, because if you say, let's say, for example, you know that there is a secret door, and so it's in the wall, and it's next to the library, and so whatever, and so when I say I search the room, I'm not looking for spot hidden thing necessarily. I'm just looking for clues or whatever, or I search the room now and I'm describing how I do it.
Right.
And then you say, I want you to do spot hidden. Let's say you do that. Let's say
Yep.
you end up being, you want to save some time as a GM and you say, look, there is a secret room here. Whenever you say roll spot hidden, it kind of tells me that there is something hidden.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this freaky thing going on here where you as a GM and I want to know your take on this. Let's say you have a very important clue hidden in a very important place, very secret place, sorry. And then you say roll but hidden and I fail.
Yeah.
So now you don't want to. It's a classic problem. So now you don't want to be the investigation is done. You will never know because you missed your roll, probably. So what are you
Well,
gonna do? Are you gonna do
that's how people.
a quantum Cthulhu? Are you gonna do a quantum Cthulhu where I missed my hidden spot there, so that the thing that was behind the door now is now another place that I'm gonna find later, kind of thing. What are your take on this?
I don't know how much this separates me from other keepers of the game, but this has never bothered me. The roles are there for a reason. And I don't do prepared adventures.
Yeah.
Right. So there are, of course, some famous pre-written, published adventures that have that kind of problem where one role, if it's failed, means the rest of that published adventure cannot be accessed. But I don't do those. So it has honestly never come up. But a failed roll fails, and a successful roll is successful. Many investigations that players have been involved in through me have wound up unsuccessful. They didn't find out who did it, or they didn't.
It's no big deal. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And I like that.
Yeah, it matters. It matters in the sense of now we know what happened. But
yeah, I understand. I understand that. I agree, and I agree. I agree. I just wanted to know your take on this because it's a question that can arise. And now, one last question, technical question. Why did I roll Constitution?
because
Out
of
of nowhere.
because of your illness. So you've been up for a long time.
Okay.
You walked around the yard in the freezing cold. You got to go up all these stairs. We roll Constitution. It's like I want to go to sleep, but I hurt, and I'm yes. That's all.
So you wanted it for character development and aesthetic, basically. Because it did it was major for me as a player, though.
To
Because
recognize.
it's not it. Oh man, because when I failed the role, I'm like, I cannot hold that facade anymore. So I decided to change the color of the clothes. I decided to do a whole lot of things out of that. It changed a lot of things. My whole behavior changed.
Yeah.
So it worked and it's a very weird. I don't think I've ever used a role like that myself as a GM. I don't recall. Maybe because it's good for such a genre, like for a game like that. But I don't remember doing a role just to help the player establish his character in a certain way or not, right? And when you told me that role, when you asked for the role and I decided to do it, and I did it. I mean, did not decide that I did it. I I told myself, oh, that's interesting. You know, out of character in my mind. That's interesting
Have
role.
I been poisoned?
No, not at all. I'm not. No. I don't have that D&D mindset or whatever. I was no. I was like, that's an interesting role. It's just a role to see if I can. I knew it was probably a role just to for me to
About the
describe
experience.
stuff about the
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, and that is something that we don't talk about a lot in the conversation about the hobby. These kind of thing that we can do with with the system because
Right.
we utilize sometimes we see the system as a means to an end. You want to climb, you do something. Task resolution kind of thing. That was not a task resolution. That was a character development role, basically. Like for me, that's how I see it. And it created a long narration. What, like 15 minutes,
At
maybe?
least, yeah.
Like, yeah, at least, like, and then it changed the whole thing. So I learned something there. I think I will utilize those. But the problem is with those roles is that if I make my not my player, but if I make some of the player I play with do such a role, they might gonna think, oh, what's going on? What happened to me? What's going? Like you said, am I poisoned
Yeah.
or because they
Right.
have this relationship to the role?
Right.
So that, oh man, you gave me ideas for podcasts like for days because it's no, but I mean it's a very interesting thing. Like,
Sure.
what are the different kind of roles that we do in this hobby, and what they are meant for? Do we have do we ever thought about that? Like, because we understand the basics,
Right.
and there are some games that create their own role, you know, to do certain
Yeah.
things. But there might be some interesting ways to utilize those roles. So that was interesting. That was
What's
very interesting.
BRP gives you some examples. It gives you the knowledge role based on your education, and it gives you the idea role based on your
Mm-hmm.
intelligence. But it's not all that that's not all that you can use them for, right? They're very commonly used, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we there are many situations for dexterity or for constitution. So with your illness, I felt, after everything you've been through, all the different stresses and different experiences, a very long and difficult day, that it's time for the disease to come knocking at the door. And
Yeah. That was cool. Um, about the die rolling and the asking for rolls
yeah,
and all that. So, what was your take on me saying I try to persuade him? Because
well, that
it could have been intimidation, it could have been so many different things. And I know you don't want to get caught up in those minutiae because the difference between persuading to go away and intimidating to go away, I mean, depend on the way I do it, on the way I phrase it. I would
yeah,
say personally. So I said I'm gonna. So what I did, my strategy was like, okay, I'm gonna tell Anthony, I'm gonna try to persuade him, and I'd rather like to roll. That was my message to you somehow. And the reason why is I felt like it deserved a role because
and
it
I
felt like
would
an
have asked for
important.
one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it was an important situation. So instead of saying, "Can I roll persuade?" or "Tall
exactly.
eye?" or "Would you
You
allow me
expressed it
to?"
like a thought.
I
Yeah,
expressed it like a thought. So I said, so I will try to persuade him to go away without making a scene. And so I gathered my dice. If we were a bit in person, you would have known already just for me gathering my dice. But now we are not. So I decided to make a little bit of noise with the dice. So you understand
Yeah.
what I'm doing. It's just those are little tips and tricks
Yep.
that can
Exactly.
alleviate the
Yep.
experience. And then I kept narrating. So I said, so I came closer to the guy. Okay, pal, get out of the way, get out of here. Don't make a mess. And I did not intimidate him. I tried to persuade him. No,
Right.
it's rather you go. Don't make no problem.
But
Blah, blah, blah.
he's stuck in the scene. Like he can't back down. He's in his small little territory with his
No,
teenage fan club and
I don't know. So I rolled the dice and I failed miserably. So I just narrate, and I decided to narrate it so you understand. It's kind of easy to narrate to make to make you understand. It was
yeah.
not hard. Me as a dying man, I just have to act sick and say that I'm holding on to a door, and
Yeah.
so you understand that I did not.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of easy to do that. And I wanted to know what was your take on that situation? Did you, because look, the way I see it, the reason why I bring that up is that we do not roll a lot in those
Right.
games, and it's okay. I don't demand to roll, but so maybe we have an average of 2 rolls a session, and we play an average of 2 hours. So it's a roll an hour situation kind of thing, almost. So my question was, how much of important stuff would you just automatically let go in order for the experience to stay immersive? Because look, there is a whole game that is not being
Hey.
used. There is a lot of stuff here that is not being used and that might never be used, and it's okay. And so my question is, how far do you go? Because I turn around, I wink to JC, and I say, I do this, and you just kill the guy with no rolls, and it's
Yeah.
okay because I understand.
I didn't kill the guy with no rolls.
Oh, you
I
roll?
hit him.
Oh, but I killed him in my narration. Oh, okay. So if I did not have killed him, he was not dead.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, okay. Actually, because I was like, but my question is go beyond that. My question is just in such a game that has so much tools to be using that we don't necessarily use, which is okay because we don't play necessarily the same kind of characters and the same kind of setting and all that. What's your take on, because I see there is a fine balance between not utilizing the design mechanism a lot, so utilizing them sometimes, very rarely, in a very important way, and let it ride everything, all the stuff that seems not to be important, to let them ride. And eventually, like, are we just talking to each other with a background, with a little background in the back, just in case we have to, kind of thing? Do you understand my question? It's kind of hard. I don't know how to
No,
explain.
it's an easy question. It's one that, I expect. So to answer your question, the sheet is always in front of me. I have my dice in front of me too, right? So, for example, your persuade is 40%.
It's worth rolling. I know. Yeah, this one is
So it's worth
worth
rolling. It's under stress. He's in a situation where he can't. Now let's say the situation were reversed. He's in your territory. You have lots of backup. He knows who you are,
rolling.
right? So he's got reason to be intimidated. Then you no longer have just a 40%, right? It's better than that because of modifiers, which I have to assess in the moment. If his situation is so bad it seems ridiculous, right? I guess what I'm saying is I'm waiving rolls, meaning you don't have to actually roll the dice in some cases, but the skill and its amount, its value is always being considered. Right? So for example, your ride from the boss's house to Callum McInnes's house talking to JC, you're trying to get him to understand that everything's okay. I'm going to retire. I'm not a threat to you. You're not a threat to me, right? That's also persuade, right?
Oh, okay. I did not felt that way, but I understand why. Yeah.
Your first meeting with him, this is your raw attribute of appearance, which is terrible.
Where is it? It's the charisma? No. Appearance.
APP.
Oh, APP. Oh my God, yes, my
Right, so he comes in, he's got this fantastic tailoring job, this incredible hat, and he's looking at this sick old man. He's like, this is Jimmy Calloway.
See, now that's very interesting, but that, oh man, that I did not. Oh wow. Okay, so you are almost like
All
a
of the feet
computer.
is always in play,
Oh,
all the time.
man, okay, you're almost like a computer. That's very impressive because you have the feet in front of you. No, but I mean, you're looking at all the stats and make them happen in the flow of discussions and character and all that. That's a lot of work, man, to be able to look at all these details and
So when he
it's
throws the
a lot.
knife, he's close enough that
And does he have a
gets.
sheet? Do you have sheet for all of the
I have sheets for everybody who's named.
You get it. You get it. Be kidding. Do you use do you do them yourself, or do
Yeah.
you utilize it? Oh, that's a whole lot of work.
Well, it's pretty easy with BRP. This is one of the reasons why I like it. Ubiquity and BRP, I don't they speak to
Yeah,
me in this way where I can where the
easily
numbers
create
make sense to
characters.
me. Yeah.
It makes sense very fast for you, and you look at the feat is this is a well-made feat. This sheet
Yeah.
is very easy. You look, you know. It's I know it's very interesting. I will have to try one day to GM the way you do. I never did. I never tried. And this is actually uh, I have 10 minutes I have to go, but I want to have this conversation. I don't know when, if you have time. Maybe we can have a conversation over my podcast, you and I. Um, I'm gonna figure out exactly what I want to talk about, but because it's not clear yet.
Okay.
But I'd like to have a conversation about the way you do it, the way you do your GMing in that
Oh,
sense, that approach that we are discussing right now. Because I wanna cover this idea where we play this game right now and we play it by the rules.
right.
And we play it a certain way that allow it to be very light mechanically.
Yeah.
Very,
For you,
very
yeah.
light mechanically,
Yeah.
but very intense and very true to genre and everything. So it is so the mechanics are there to support. We utilize everything, but we utilize it in the player perspective. It doesn't feel like I play a game a lot because I don't roll dice a lot.
Right.
But I have to trust you that you are playing the game in the background all the time. Like with all the numbers that I have here that I chose are being utilized.
Right.
So it's almost like you are playing the game a little bit more than I do because it feels like when I play, the numbers are not there, nothing is there, I am in the game. But the numbers are being utilized, like you mentioned all the time. So it's very interesting. And we could have played the same game, same setting, but with a very different experience where I
with
would
you
have
doing
been
all the
talking
roles.
I'm doing all the roles, we're talking about all the numbers, I'm rolling maybe 10 times an hour, and it's just and it becomes another experience, completely different experience, and probably definitely less intense because there's a lot of rolling and numbers and mechanisms and all that.
Right. So
And
there's
I
all the
think this is
switching costs. Yeah.
and I think that's the conversation I'd like to have with you about
Cool.
that that's weird. That can be applied to all games, right?
A
It
lot
can
of
be
games, yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
And what's your take on this? To finish up, what's your take on the session we had? Did you enjoy your session?
I really enjoyed it. This is our third session, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what you were going to do, obviously, and I don't have any attachment to it. I'm just really curious. And so getting out of the boss's house was kind of agony for me. Like
Oh yeah.
the good kind, not the bad kind. It's just like, what is he going to do? It's like, I'm going to eat toast and I'm going to read and fold the newspapers. Like, yes, but what are you going to do? Like, hurry, not hurry up, but like, it was exciting, right? What's he going to do? Anticipation is the word I want. And then, is he going to go burn down the docks or is he going to go try to find Rory? I was hoping you'd go for Rory because you had that wonderful scene with him at the end of the last session. Yeah.
I'm gonna be, yeah, of course I'm gonna be constant. Yeah.
So it's nice the loyalty and persuading the boss to make this happen, right? He wants to hide and protect Rory because he's losing everything, this kind of stuff. So that's all.
Yeah.
It's all really juicy, and then wanting JC to be involved means that you and I get to have some interesting conversations. Is it going to be adversarial? Or is it going to be convivial? And it turns out that he likes you now.
Well, we'll see.
Sort of.
Yeah, I hope he likes me a little because I forced him to throw a knife at someone's chest in the middle of the street, so he might not like me that much. But yeah,
it just adds to his legend and his mystique.
Yeah. But it was a cool session for that. I felt the characters developing, and going in a way that I appreciate. But at the same time, I need to be careful. It's a game of gangsters and criminals. You cannot trust no one. You cannot. I have to be careful, and I have to be respectful. It's a respect, but it's a hard-earned one. So you kind of have to always be strong, always be real, and always be honest. And the thing, I was talking with him in the car, and the whole thing that I was thinking in my head was, yeah, I want to know what he knows. He must know something. It was my car conversation moment, my clue detective moment. So I'm like, okay, so give me what you know. Give me what you know. But at the same time, I'm like, if he gives me stuff, I need to give him stuff. So I decided to ask about the medallion. Do you know about the medallion and all that? And then I felt like, man, if I'm starting to give all the information to everybody, because the two guys in the front, they here. So I'm like, okay, now.
One guy in the front.
Yeah.
The other guy's in the other car. You have two cars.
You're right. That's another confusion. Yeah, sometimes I kind of forget. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. One guy in the front. Yeah, because I said the two guys in the front. You see, that's confusing. Yeah, two cars.
Now you got three cars.
Well,
if you take Rory's, you'll have three. Yeah.
If we take Rory, we drive around with a dead body in the back. If I don't take Rory's car, nobody knows it's Rory's car because
it's unregistered now.
So there's just a dead body in the car. So I will probably do make that decision. But it's interesting to see. I know we started slow because we had a lot of discussion and in-character thinking and description, but at the same time, I think they are important. I don't know how much importance you like to give those moments.
100% importance. That's why I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I had this question of what is he going to do?
Yeah, that's hard to know.
But I have this great conversation with the boss. A couple of great conversations with the boss. We're seeing the secret boss, right, with his old friend, not the big scary boss that everyone else sees.
Yeah, the boss that likes to do seances. Oh, yeah, I actually believe in that stuff. And now he's mad because there's zombies coming at him. And what you gonna do? You know?
Karma.
Yeah, karma. So it's
All right.
yeah, it's yeah. All right, thank you very much. I see you around.
Yep. Thanks a lot for playing, and let me know about the podcast.
All right.